Getting promoted at work can be kind of like a relationship. And one person in the relationship wants to take it to the next level, and the other person doesn't want to. And in fact, maybe they want to back off on the relationship and they say something like, oh, it's not you, it's me. And of course, what they really mean is, it really is you. You're just not the right person for me. And getting promoted at work, if you're not getting promoted, it's so easy to think, oh man, they're just not seeing it. They're just not seeing my value. It's so easy to think that it's them and it's not you. And I want to tell you, it's you. If you're not getting promoted at work, it's you, it's not them. Now that sounds really disempowering, doesn't it? It sounds really critical, doesn't it? But I want to tell you that is the most empowering thing I could say to you. Because if you're not getting promoted at work, and if it really is them, then you've got no power. You've got nowhere to go. You've got nothing that you can do, nothing that you can advance on, nothing that you can work on that would help you to get that promotion. If you're not getting promoted at work and it is you, then you've got all the power, because all you need to do is to determine what are the things that you need to do so that indeed you can get promoted. I talk to so many people who want to get promoted at work. They want to move their career to the next level. And if it's not happening, there are so many places that their mind goes, well, they're just not giving out promotions this year. Well, there's just not room in the budget. Well, there's just nothing available in my department. Well, management just isn't attentive. They come up with so many reasons why it's not happening. And every time they come up with another reason, what they're doing is they're stealing more and more power, and they're wasting more and more time that they could be funneling into what is it that I need to do to cut through all of that. And so let's look at 3 areas that you want to be looking at, 3 things that you could be doing and ought to be doing to be sure that you do get that promotion and you get it this year. First, one of the biggest complaints I hear when people aren't getting promoted at work is that, well, they don't value me. My management doesn't value me. My leadership doesn't see the value that I bring. And the very first place you want to start is, it doesn't matter the value they see if you are not valuing yourself. And I mean, rather than just keep it on the surface of, well, they should be valuing me, ask yourself, to what extent am I valuing myself? And there's 3 areas you want to look at. Is number 1, really go deep and ask yourself, what are your true strengths? What are your true abilities to make a greater contribution? And then secondly, what difference are you making? What's the impact of those strengths? Rather than just showing up and doing your job and completing your job and having follow through, all those are all good things and they need to be done. But what are your additional strengths? What are you doing that's actually moving the needle for the department and for your manager? And then inventory for yourself your vision and how you could contribute. What could that next level of growth look like for you that you really are poised to grow into? And as you do that, as you start within and ask yourself about your own strengths and contribution and impact, and then what it could be going forward, inventorying where you've been and what you brought, and then really what you could bring, you're going to get yourself in the right inner posture that's going to make it absolutely more likely for them to really value you and set you up for when you go in and you have a conversation about your next step. Second, one of the biggest complaints I hear from people who want to move to the next level in their career is, my boss doesn't notice me. My boss doesn't notice all of the great things that I'm doing. And I say, no, you're not advertising. You're not making it clear for your manager. You are not making it obvious for your manager. You're not helping your manager to see all of the great things that you're doing. So it's not your manager's fault, it's your fault. And that is one of the most empowering things that I could say, because you need to be leading the horse to water. If it's just that your manager isn't noticing, then you have no power. But if it's that you're not advertising, then you have power. All you need to do is advertise. There's 4 areas that you want to consider and steps you want to take as you do this. And the first one is, you have got to get the right mindset. Most people don't advertise their strengths and their accomplishments at work because they think, well, I'm not one of those people who toots my own horn. And in fact, they look down on those people and they create a division between themselves and those people who toot their own horn. So you've got to clean up that mindset. You can't look at it like I'm tooting my horn. You have to look at it like I am helping my manager be informed about the work, about what's happening, and about any areas that they need to look at. And I'm helping them be informed about the performance of their direct reports, and I'm one of them. Your manager needs this information to run the department in the best way. And so if you don't change your mindset, you're never going to do it and you're never going to be successful at it. You have to look at it like advertising and telling your manager about the good things that you're doing is helping your manager. The second thing you have to do is you got to schedule it. You have to be regular about keeping your manager informed about what's happening and about what you're doing and what you're accomplishing. That leads us to the third item, which is don't just tell them what you're doing. Tell them the impact of what you're doing. They're busy. Don't make them figure out what's the impact, what's the positive impact of what she's doing. You can say it in such a way that it doesn't sound like you're bragging, but it sounds like you're informing. But do lead the horse to water. Lead the horse to water. Show your manager. And then fourth, you want to ask your manager about more. How can I be contributing more? What do you need to see more? Always asking for that feedback in a confident way is going to remind them that you're someone who's open, and open people are the best people ultimately to get promoted. Third, when you're going for a promotion and you feel like, my leadership just doesn't see me there. They don't see me in that next role. And I've got to say, if they're not seeing you in that next role, that means that you're not acting like you're in that next role or like you could perform well in that next role. They have to, it's true, they have to see you in that next role before they promote you to it. But who has the power over that? You do. You got to act like you're in that next role. I had a client who told me that she had a manager pull her aside and when she wanted to get promoted and someone very kindly gave her some feedback and told her how she was not acting like someone who belonged in that next role. And that was really helpful feedback for her. And it helped her to realize, wow, I do need to shift. I do need to change. One of the things that I help my clients with all the time is get feedback and find out how they are being perceived and then coach them to be perceived at that next level. And it happens all the time that when people do find out some good real data about how they are seen and how people look at them at work, it empowers them. It helps them to know, oh, here's some of the things that I need to do differently that would enable me to be seen in that next role and therefore make it so much easier for their manager to promote them. So if you have not reached out and asked for feedback, or if you need some support with this, give me a ring. But if you have not asked for that, get that feedback and then make a plan to do some things that are going to help people to look up, take notice of how you are someone who doesn't just belong in the role you're in, but who really belongs at that next level. So remember, the most empowering thing you can do for yourself is, if you're not getting promoted, is to say to yourself, well, okay, it's not them, it's me. So basically, I do have the power. What can I do? And start with really valuing yourself, internally valuing yourself, and really having a deeper sense, not just a complaining, I got to get promoted here, why haven't I gotten promoted, but a deeper sense of the value and the impact you bring. And then you've got to advertise. If you don't tell them what you're doing and the impact, they're not going to know it. And then you've got to really act like it. You got to act like that next level person. Step up and take some responsibility and make sure that your behaviors match someone at that next level. And then see how that can speed up, all of that together can speed up your next promotion.